Printing and drawing are complicated activities that require children to do many different kinds of work all at the same time. Let's take a look at all the different skills children need to draw and print successfully. First of all, to move the hands and arms precisely, the body has to provide stability, a combination of strength and balance that allows us to keep one body part still while another part moves. Stability is achieved through a combination of good positioning, placing the child's feet on the floor and her bum on the seat of the chair, and strength in the core muscles of the pelvis, trunk, back, shoulders, and neck. As this little girl draws, she sits upright, holds her head up, and moves it as she needs to. Because she doesn't need to lean on her arms to hold herself up, she's able to move her arms freely to draw on the whole paper. That takes shoulder stability and shoulder and arm strength. Even when her arms are still, the upper back and shoulders provide the base to perform accurate movements with her forearms and hands. She also needs hand stability to allow for skilled finger movements. The strength in her wrist and in the little and ring fingers of her hand give her the stability she needs to hold and move the marker or crayon with her thumb and the first two fingers. The way Cooper is holding the marker is called a tripod grasp because there are 3 points of contact with the marker, her thumb and her first two fingers. This is one example of what occupational therapists call an efficient grasp pattern. In an efficient grasp pattern, the child is able to move the crayon or marker using the small muscles of the hand, which use only a little energy, whereas an inefficient grasp pattern requires the child to use the big muscles of the shoulder and arm to move the crayon, and that takes a lot of energy. It also makes it harder to make fine and precise movements, which is why Cooper switches back to the efficient pattern when she wants to get precise. Children need a combination of finger strength and maturity. Their hands need to be well developed enough to be able to use efficient grasp patterns, which they need to make fine movements like this. Being able to make fine, skilled finger movement like this is called dexterity. Dexterity is an important part of fine motor skill. Many activities besides writing or drawing need and help develop dexterity. What else is she doing as she draws? She's using both hands. Her right hand is drawing, and her left hand is holding the paper in place. Using your hands together, whether they're doing the same job or different jobs like Cooper's are here, is called bilateral coordination. Bilateral coordination, or coordinating the two sides of the body together, is another very important building block to printing and drawing. Her eyes and hands are also working together. This is called eye-hand coordination. She uses her eyes to see where the paper is and her hand to make the marks on the paper in the right places. She also needs eye-hand coordination when she reaches for and puts away her crayon and for other activities like cutting along a line. In fact, drawing and cutting are often referred to as visual motor skills because the eyes, or visual system, and muscles, or motor system, need to work so closely together. She is also processing information from her other senses. For example, her senses of touch, joint position, and movement tell her how hard she's pressing on the paper and whether she needs to use more or less pressure to get the effect she wants. She is also paying attention to what she's doing and focusing on this one activity even though there are other things going on in the room. When she prints her name, her brain is busy recognizing the letters, remembering the right order or sequence to write them in, and telling her hand how to form the letters. This is called motor planning. We've mentioned many skills a child needs to be able to print or draw successfully. Let's put them all back up on the screen for a minute. That's a lot of different things children need to do to print and draw successfully. It's not surprising that it takes 5 years to develop the skills to do it. The rest of this video is going to focus on the 4 main fine motor building block skills: strength and stability, bilateral coordination, sensory processing, and dexterity. If you have questions about any of the other components, please ask an occupational therapist.